Welcome to Twilight Tale. Tonight, allow the noise of the day to fade away as we step quietly into the ancient world. In this story, you won't find battles or loud triumphs, only the gentle rhythm of everyday life lived long ago beneath warm Mediterranean skies. As you settle in and let your breathing slow, imagine yourself walking through cool marble halls where oil lamps glow softly and time itself seems to move more gently. This is life inside a Roman villa, a place of routine, comfort, and quiet moments. Close your eyes, relax your body, and let history guide you peacefully toward sleep. As the last rays of daylight gently touch the earth, a soft glow drapes itself over the villa, bathing the courtyard in golden silence. Time itself seems to pause here, caught in the embrace of an eternal evening. The air, cool and thick with a fragrance of lavender, carries with it the faintest hint of salt, as if the sea were not far. Whispers of a world beyond these stone walls, a world where the rhythms of nature echo endlessly. We stand at the entrance to the courtyard, the heavy wooden doors of the villa slowly swinging open on their hinges, revealing a space untouched by haste, where even the dust seems to settle with reverence. It is said that the ancients believed such moments held the power to transcend time itself, moments when the earth, the heavens, and the spirit meet in quiet harmony. The courtyard is empty, yet full, as though the presence of 1,000 footsteps still lingers on the cool, polished marble, their echoes soft and distant. The fountain at the center of the courtyard murmurs gently, its waters trickling from an old stone basin, flowing like liquid memory. Its surface catches the last of the sun's warmth, sending ripples across the reflection of the sky above, a sky brushed with the colors of twilight, painted in shades of dusky rose and pale gold. Every stone, every curve of the fountain's basin holds within it centuries of stories, whispers from the past of those who sought peace and beauty in this very space. The coolness of the stone beneath your feet is an invitation, a soft touch, drawing you deeper into the world of this villa, where time unfolds like a quiet prayer. Beneath the archways, columns rise like silent sentinels, their marble pillars glowing faintly in the soft light, their once intricate carvings now worn by years of wind and rain, yet still speaking in silent language. They seem to breathe with the villa, as though the stones themselves carry the pulse of life that once filled this space. The pillars mark the passage of time, yet in their stillness they are timeless, guarding the memory of a place where every corner held purpose, where every step led to something sacred. In the distance, the shadows of the garden begin to stretch, their edges softening as the evening light fades into twilight. The garden, lush, verdant, and fragrant, seems to hold its breath, as though waiting for the first star to appear in the sky above. The scent of rosemary and thyme drifts on the evening breeze, mingling with the lavender, creating a fragrance that is at once foreign and familiar, ancient and ever new. The path leading through the garden is framed by small stone statues, each one a guardian frozen in time, yet full of quiet life. They do not speak aloud, but there is an energy to them, a soft hum that fills the air, as if they too remember something, perhaps a lost prayer, perhaps a moment of laughter that once echoed beneath the archways. As we move deeper into the courtyard, the sound of distant voices reaches us, faint and barely audible, as though the laughter of the villa's former inhabitants still lingers in the air like a forgotten melody. It is said that this villa, like many others, was a place where life's most sacred moments were shared, feasts, celebrations, and conversations that wove the fabric of a community's soul. Now, the voices of those who once lived here are but shadows, moving through the air like a soft breeze, felt but not seen. The courtyard, now quiet, stands as a sanctuary. The stillness of the evening transforms it into something sacred, a space where time slows, where the weight of the world outside this place is forgotten. It is as though the villa itself has exhaled, breathing out the cares of the day and inviting in the calm that comes only with night. The sound of cicadas fills the silence, their song soft and steady, like a heartbeat that mirrors the rhythm of the villa. Each note is a reminder of the life that once thrived here, life that was not rushed, not driven by the ticking of a clock, but measured in moments of quiet joy, in shared meals, in laughter and stories under the stars. And yet, beneath this tranquility, there is a subtle awareness that this villa, like all things, is fading into memory. The soft rustling of the fountain's water, the chirping of the cicadas, and the scent of lavender are but fleeting traces of a life that once unfolded in these very spaces. The villa's stones, though enduring, are worn and weathered, their surfaces smoothed by the passage of time. The garden, though lush and vibrant, bears the marks of age, the quiet bending of branches, the scattering of petals, and the slow fading of colors. Perhaps it was never meant to last forever. Perhaps the beauty of this place lies not in its endurance, but in its impermanence. For in this villa, every stone, every plant, every shadow is a reminder that all things, even the most sacred and the most beautiful, are touched by time. The luxury of Roman life, so often associated with excess, was also rooted in the understanding of time's fragility. It is said that the Romans, in their wisdom, built their homes not as mere shelters, but as sanctuaries, places where one could pause, reflect, and connect with something greater than the fleeting nature of existence. As the evening deepens, the villa's transformation becomes even more pronounced. The sun slips below the horizon, leaving only a faint glimmer of light along the edges of the sky. The air grows cooler, the shadows lengthen, and the courtyard takes on a sense of sacred solitude. The golden glow that once bathed the marble fades into the deep, rich hues of twilight. The sound of the fountain, once so soft and serene, now seems to echo louder in the stillness of the night, as though the villa itself is breathing deeply, preparing for the quiet solitude that the night will bring. This, too, is part of the villa's life cycle, its gentle rhythm of day and night, light and shadow, presence and absence. As the villa quiets and stills, so too does the soul of the place, resting in the arms of the evening. Perhaps this is the true luxury of Roman life, the ability to pause, to reflect, to be present in the moment, without the need for constant motion, constant noise. Here, in the stillness of the courtyard, we are invited to do the same. The moon rises slowly, its pale light casting soft shadows on the marble. The villa is now bathed in a silvery glow, each stone reflecting the celestial light like a whisper from the past. The cicadas grow quieter, the night settling in with an almost reverent silence. As we stand in the courtyard, gazing up at the stars, we realize that this space, this villa, is more than just a place of stone and mortar. It is a reflection of something greater, a timeless rhythm, a dance between the earth and the heavens, between life and death, between presence and absence. And as the last vestiges of light fade into the night, we are left with a sense of quiet awe, a sense that something sacred has been shared with us in this moment, something intangible but deeply felt. Perhaps it is the villa itself, with its history and its beauty, that teaches us the most profound lesson of all, that life, in its quietest moments, is where we find the deepest meaning. And so the villa rests, wrapped in the embrace of night. The courtyard, the garden, the fountain, all stand silent under the watchful gaze of the stars. The villa has lived through centuries of stories, and now it breathes only in memory. In the silence of this sacred space, we too are invited to pause, to reflect, and to listen. For some voices only echo when we are ready to hear them, and some spaces only speak when we allow ourselves the stillness to listen. The evening light begins its slow retreat, giving way to the quiet embrace of dusk. There is a soft murmur in the air, the world outside fading into a gentle silence. Within the villa, the atrium comes alive with the flickering glow of oil lamps, their flames casting soft golden hues across the stone floor. It is as though the light itself hesitates, taking time to stretch its final rays over the marble, lingering in reverence for the day that has passed. The atmosphere is thick with the scent of burning oil, mingling with the faint scent of herbs from the nearby garden. Each flicker of the flame creates a dance of shadows across the walls, brief, sacred movements, as fleeting as memory, as ancient as the stars above. We move slowly between the columns, feeling the coolness of the stone against our skin, a sensation both grounding and otherworldly. The columns themselves stand like guardians of the past, their surfaces adorned with faint etchings, symbols and figures worn by time, their meanings half remembered, like forgotten dreams. The soft rustling of the evening breeze makes its way through the open spaces of the villa, carrying with it the breath of distant lands, whispering stories of a world long ago. The air feels alive with history, heavy with the presence of those who walked this path before us. As we step deeper into the atrium, the sound of our footsteps mingles with the soft murmurs of the villa's evening routine. The servants move quietly, their steps light and measured, as though they too are part of the rhythm of this place, an ancient song of life performed in the shadows of the evening. Their voices, though gentle, carry a reverence, a calm that is reflected in the stillness of the space around us. There is no rush here, no hurry to move beyond the moment. The world outside is distant, its noise and chaos nothing more than a far-off echo. Here, time is measured not by the tick of a clock, but by the rise and fall of the day, by the gradual retreat of the sun and the arrival of the night. We pause beside the central fountain, watching as the water shimmers in the warm light. The fountain's surface is smooth, its water catching the golden hue of the lamps, rippling softly with each subtle breath of wind. It is a place of peace, a gathering of stillness, where the only sound is the quiet flow of water, a gentle lullaby that seems to echo the very rhythm of life itself. The fountain has witnessed countless days, each one a continuation of the ancient cycle, each ripple a reminder of the timeless dance between earth, water, and sky. We stand in the stillness, drawn into the quiet magic of this moment, the flickering lamps, the soft sound of water, the slow, deliberate pulse of the villa itself. The courtyard outside is now fully bathed in the shadows of night, the edges of the world fading into the darkness. But here, in the heart of the villa, light and shadow intertwine, creating a sanctuary, a sacred space where the outside world does not intrude. The oil lamps burn steady, their flames bright and unwavering against the cool night air. There is something meditative in the rhythm of the flame, in its flicker, in its dance. The light is soft, eternal, like the presence of the villa itself, anchored in the earth yet reaching toward the heavens. It is as though the villa is held in a quiet pause, suspended between two worlds, the world of time and the world of memory, where moments pass in silence, slow and sacred. In this space, we are no longer bound by the passing hours. Time does not move here with the urgency that it does in the world beyond these walls. The rhythm of the villa is measured by the rise of the sun, by the flickering oil lamps at dusk, by the soft hum of life that pulses beneath the surface of every stone, every column, every mosaic. The villa speaks not in words, but in the slow, steady pulse of existence, a pulse that beats in the quiet flicker of the lamps, in the trickle of water, in the soft rustling of leaves in the garden. It is a rhythm as ancient as the earth, as timeless as the stars, and here, within these walls, it is ours to follow, to listen to become a part of. The mosaics beneath our feet catch the fading light, their intricate patterns shimmering in the soft glow. These designs, once vibrant with color, now muted by the slow passage of time, seem to hold secrets, fragments of a past life that we can only dream of. The tiles tell stories of gods and heroes, of myths and legends, each piece a small memory of something once lived, once loved, now only visible in the quiet light of the evening. As we trace the patterns with our eyes, we are reminded that nothing is ever truly lost, only waiting to be remembered in the flicker of a flame, in the flow of water, in the breath of a passing wind. In this moment, we are connected to something far beyond ourselves. It is as though the villa itself breathes, its presence wrapped around us like a soft, ancient lullaby. The night deepens, but here, beneath the soft glow of the oil lamps, the darkness is not something to fear. It is a veil that wraps the world in quiet reverence, in a sacred peace. The villa stands as a guardian of this peace, holding the mysteries of the past in its stones, its water, its very air. The night settles in deeper, and the flickering light of the oil lamps begins to soften, casting long shadows on the walls. The murmurs of the servants fade, the rustling of the leaves grows quiet, and we are left with the soft sound of water flowing, the steady pulse of the villa, and the eternal dance between light and shadow. The moment is suspended in time, an offering to the quiet rhythm of life that flows gently, like the flicker of the lamps through the heart of the villa. Perhaps it is this rhythm that the ancients understood best, that life is not meant to be hurried, that moments are meant to be savored, that time is not something to be controlled, but something to be lived in harmony with. In the villa, beneath the flickering light, we learn this sacred lesson. The lamps flicker, the water flows, the earth breathes, and we too are invited to pause, to breathe, to listen. As the night deepens, we are left with a sense of quiet wonder. The villa, now bathed in the soft glow of the oil lamps, stands as it has for centuries, a place where time moves slowly, where history whispers softly, and where the present moment is held in gentle reverence. Perhaps it is here, in the quiet sanctuary of the atrium, that we find the deepest truth of all, that life, like the flicker of an oil lamp, is both fleeting and eternal, both fragile and sacred. And so the flickering light fades into the night, the sounds of the villa settle into a calm stillness, and we are left with the echo of the water, the quiet rhythm of life, and the soft, sacred presence of the villa itself. Perhaps some stories are not meant to be fully understood, but only felt, like a whisper in the dark, soft, eternal, waiting for us to listen when we are ready. The garden lies before us, its path a thread woven through the quiet, the soft murmur of time caught within its stones. A gate, once carved from stone, stands open, though there is no sound of the hinges, only the breath of the wind that carries with it the scent of roses, of crushed earth, of herbs that have known the sun's touch and the moon's silent gaze. The air is thick with it, sweet, fragrant, almost otherworldly in its weight. And as we step forward, the ground beneath our feet welcomes us with its softness, the earth giving just enough to remind us that it too, like us, has lived many lives. It is said that gardens like this carry the wisdom of the ancients, a place where not only plants grow, but where memories take root in the soil, intertwining with the flowers and leaves. Here, beneath the starlit sky, we begin a journey of quiet exploration, of finding beauty in what is hidden in some light, of slowing down just enough to hear the whispers of the world that has been forgotten. The cypress trees stand like sentinels along the path, their dark forms reaching toward the heavens, their silhouettes sharp against the soft velvet of the night sky. Their branches, heavy with the weight of history, rustle faintly with the wind, soft whispers of a time before the present, a time when this garden may have been full of life and laughter, but now it is a place of stillness, of secrets kept by the stone and the soil. The stars above seem to mark the very air itself, a celestial map leading us deeper into this quiet reverence. The path beneath our feet is lined with smooth stones, worn by centuries of footsteps, their edges softened by time. Some are faded, nearly lost to the earth, while others remain steadfast, still marking the way. With each step, we move closer to something ancient, something sacred, yet always in the present. The garden holds us in this liminal space, suspended between past and present, life and memory. As we walk, the air grows cooler, the scent of the roses growing stronger, more intoxicating. There is something about the roses here. They are not just flowers, not just the emblem of beauty. They are vessels of memory, holding within them the stories of those who have passed this way before us. Whispers tell us that every petal, every leaf carries a message from another time. The earth beneath is rich with history, the stones beneath our feet imbued with the pulse of those who have walked this path before. Perhaps the plants themselves remember the hands that once tended them, the souls who breathed their scent and found solace in their beauty. In the distance, the soft call of a bird echoes through the garden, its voice breaking the silence just enough to remind us of the world beyond. Yet here in the garden, this world feels distant, timeless. The rush of life outside seems to fade away, swallowed up by the thick air of the garden, held gently in its embrace. Here, time moves not in hurried steps, but in slow, deliberate breaths. The pace of life feels as if it has slowed to match the rhythm of the earth itself, gentle and eternal. Each step brings us deeper into the garden's heart, where the stones of the path are smoothed by centuries of movement. The air is cool, yet the warmth of the earth seems to radiate upwards, creating a sense of harmony between body and soil. The leaves of the cypress trees above whisper with the wind, their sound like the breath of the earth, a soft exhale that stirs the stillness. It is in these whispers that we are invited to pause, to listen, to hear what is not spoken aloud. Perhaps it is in the silence that the true language of the garden is found, in the gentle sway of the trees, in the subtle perfume of the roses, in the texture of the stones beneath our feet. The garden speaks not in words, but in sensations, in memories that rise like mist, only to fade again when we are not paying attention. The language here is one of slowing down, of resting, of becoming aware of the delicate balance between the earth and the heavens, between the past and the present. The path continues, winding its way through the garden, yet there is no sense of urgency, no need to hurry toward any destination. The stones beneath our feet seem to stretch on forever, as though the journey itself is the destination. Each step is a small act of reverence, a gentle acknowledgement of the history that rests beneath the soil, beneath the stones, in the very air. The scent of earth and flowers fills our senses, grounding us in this moment. The birds, now distant, have ceased their calls, and the wind has quieted to a soft murmur. The garden is still again, wrapped in the hush of the night. The world outside, with its noise and chaos, is far away, its demands forgotten for this brief moment in time. We pause at the edge of a small pond, its surface still and glassy, reflecting the sky above like a mirror, marking the boundary between the heavens and the earth. The moonlight bathes the water in silver, casting a soft glow over the scene. The pond seems to hold within it a quiet, secret world, one that can only be seen in moments of deep stillness. Beneath the surface, we imagine the faint ripples of unseen fish, their movement almost imperceptible, just as the movements of the past are barely seen, yet felt in the heart. The stillness of the water invites us to stop, to reflect, to sink into the moment, just as the pond sinks into the earth, rooted in the world, but lifted toward the sky. As we continue, the path curves gently toward a small alcove framed by creeping ivy and stone walls that are crumbled with age. The alcove, though weathered, holds a quiet beauty, its stone walls softened by the ivy that winds its way through every crevice. The ivy, like the garden itself, is an ancient thing, its tendrils twisting and turning in a dance that has been repeated for centuries. There is something sacred about this space, a sense that it has been preserved not by human hands, but by something deeper, something eternal. The moonlight here is soft, diffused through the leaves, casting the entire alcove in a silvery glow. The stones of the walls seem to hold the weight of time, but they are not burdened by it. Instead, they embrace it, as though they have learned to live with the passage of years, knowing that time, like the ivy, will only continue to grow and change. We find ourselves still, caught in the quiet serenity of the garden. The air is cool now, but there is no need for warmth, for here we are held by something far greater than the physical world, the silence of the garden, the rhythm of the earth, the breath of the trees. The presence of the past is so thick here that it feels as though we are walking through a dream that is both ancient and eternal. The garden, like all places of peace, has no beginning and no end. It is suspended outside of time, a moment held in reverence, where the past, present, and future blend into a single soft breath. Perhaps it is in this silence that we find what we have been searching for, not answers, but peace, not certainty, but connection. In the stillness, we are reminded that some truths are not meant to be uncovered, but to be felt, like the quiet rustling of the leaves, the scent of the roses, the warmth of the earth beneath our feet. It is here, in the heart of the garden, that time fades, and we are invited to breathe deeply, to listen, and to rest. And as the night continues to deepen, the garden grows quieter still. The moon above, now high in the sky, watches over the path, its light reflecting on the still pond. The garden, the stones, the ivy, all are held in the embrace of the night, as we are held in the embrace of this moment. Perhaps it was never meant to be understood, this ancient, sacred place, only to be experienced. Some gardens are not meant to be tended, only visited in silence. And here, beneath the moon and the stars, we understand that the garden has always been waiting for us to listen. And so, we do. The sun sinks low in the sky, casting its final golden rays across the quiet landscape. A low wind stirs the dust of the earth, bringing with it the whispers of long-forgotten voices. Far in the distance, the mountains fade into the mist, their peaks veiled in the haze of twilight. There, nestled on the edge of a forgotten valley, stands an ancient villa, its once proud stone walls now worn by centuries of salt and wind, yet still holding within them a secret warmth, a memory of what once was. As the last breath of sunlight touches the villa's weathered stones, a soft, almost reverent silence settles over the dining room. The room feels like a place suspended, as if time itself has hesitated to move forward here. In this moment, the ancient rituals of the villa linger, faint echoes of a time when the air was filled with the sounds of laughter, clinking silver, and the murmurs of shared stories. The long wooden table stretches across the room, still set for a feast that will never come. The goblets, once filled with rich wine, now sit in quiet rows, their dark surfaces reflecting the dimming light. Platters, once laden with fruits, meats, and bread, now hold nothing but shadows. The linen tablecloth, still impeccably laid, ripples slightly in the breeze, as if touched by the unseen hands of those who once filled this room. The air is heavy with the weight of absence, yet it is not an absence of emptiness. No, this stillness is full, a space where the memory of ancient meals, of laughter shared beneath the soft glow of torchlight, still lingers like a faint perfume. The frescoes on the walls seem to watch, their figures frozen in timeless grace. They depict nature in all its splendor, flowers blossoming, animals grazing beneath wide open skies, but it is the gods and goddesses that dominate these scenes, figures with faces serene and distant, their gazes eternally turned toward the heavens. Some are bathed in light, others draped in shadow, their forms half hidden beneath the soft folds of flowing robes. The frescoes seem alive, their colors still vibrant despite the passage of centuries. They breathe a sense of reverence into the room, as if reminding all who entered that this place was never simply a dining hall, but a sacred space, a temple of sorts, where food was not just sustenance, but an offering. The air feels heavy with this reverence. Each corner of the room hums with a quiet energy, an invisible current that speaks of connection to the earth and to the divine. There is something almost sacred about the space, the way the light falls across the stone floor, how the shadows stretch and shift with the fading sun. It is as if the villa itself is a vessel, carrying within it the echoes of prayers whispered over meals, of hands raised in thanks to the gods, of moments shared in the quiet stillness of the evening. And yet, there is no feast tonight. No guests, no chatter, no laughter. Only the soft rustle of the servants preparing for the next meal, the faint sound of footsteps as they move through the corridors, unseen but felt. Their presence is like a breath, a pulse beneath the stillness of the room. They too are part of the ritual, the unseen hands that carry forward the ancient customs of dining, the ones who ensure that the silence of this room will never truly be broken. We pause, breathing in the calm, allowing the weight of the space to settle over us. The long, polished table before us, the empty chairs, the flickering torchlight, all these speak of a time when food was not merely consumed, but savored. Each bite, each taste was a prayer, a moment of connection to something greater than the self. The food offered here was not just for the body, but for the spirit, an act of communion with the earth, with the gods, with the eternal forces that governed the rhythms of life. Beneath the silence, we can almost hear the faint sounds of that ancient ritual, the soft clink of silverware against porcelain, the gentle murmur of voices in conversation, the rustling of the heavy fabrics draped over the chairs. It is a quiet, sacred noise, the kind that only those who truly listen can hear. Perhaps it is not the food itself, but the act of sharing it that holds the power to connect us to the divine. The table was a place of unity, a space where all were equal, where the shared meal was a symbol of harmony between the earthly and the divine. As we sit in this stillness, we are reminded of the rituals that once filled this room, the offerings made, the prayers spoken, the bonds forged between those who sat at the table. It was not just about the food, it was about the connection. The villa itself seems to breathe with these memories, as if it too longs for the return of the laughter, the conversations, the voices that once filled its halls. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this quiet stillness, this sacred space suspended between the past and the present. Perhaps the villa, with its frescoes and forgotten rituals, is a place meant to be remembered only by the wind, by the whispers of the earth itself. There is a beauty in its abandonment, in the way the silence speaks more clearly than any words ever could. It is a place where time has slowed, where memory and myth intertwine, where the past is never truly gone, but instead lingers like a shadow, waiting to be rediscovered. And yet, as the last rays of sunlight fade into the dusky blue of evening, we feel the presence of something more. The villa is not empty. It is full, full of memories, full of stories, full of the breath of those who once walked these halls. The stillness here is not absence, it is the fullness of time itself, the space between moments where the echoes of the past meet the silence of the present. As the evening deepens and the first stars begin to twinkle in the sky above, we find ourselves drawn into the quiet mystery of the villa. The air feels thick with the weight of the past, and we wonder, what was it that brought the people here, to this place where food and spirit intertwined? What ancient rituals were performed at this table, beneath these frescoed walls? What truths did they seek, and what wisdom did they uncover? Perhaps some questions are meant to remain unanswered. Perhaps the answers lie not in the food that was once shared, but in the silence that surrounds it now. The stillness of the dining room is a space not for answers, but for reflection, for reverence. It is a place where time bends, where memories linger in the air like perfume, and where we are reminded that some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. The room grows quieter still, the last breath of sunlight fading away, leaving behind only the soft, glowing embers of a long-forgotten fire. And as we sit in the stillness, we realize that the villa, with its empty table and its ancient frescoes, is not a place of endings, but of beginnings. For in this silence we are invited to listen to the whispers of the past, to the echoes of those who came before us, to the subtle pulse of the earth beneath our feet. And as we drift into the quiet of the night, we carry with us the memory of this place, of the dining room at sunset, where the sacred rituals of the past still linger, just beyond the reach of our waking minds. The villa's inner rooms lie shrouded in a quiet, almost reverential stillness. The stone floors beneath our feet are cool and smooth, worn by the passage of time, yet still firm and solid, firm like the memories that have taken root here. Each step echoes faintly in the vastness of this sacred space, but it is not the echo of hurried footsteps, nor the bustle of an occupied home. No, it is a soft, lingering echo, one that feels as though the room itself is breathing, holding its breath with us, letting us move at our own pace. We walk carefully, almost reverently, mindful of the cool stones, the silent guardians of this space, for these floors have borne witness to countless footsteps over the centuries. They are more than mere stone. They are the silent record keepers of lives lived in harmony with the earth, with beauty, with time. In the fading light of the day, the faint flicker of candlelight dances softly across the walls. The flames sway gently, casting long, shifting shadows that move like ghosts in the room. These shadows stretch across the floor, clinging to the intricate patterns of the stones, pulling the past into the present. The flame seems to breathe life into the ancient stone, illuminating corners where light has not touched in many years. Here, in the inner rooms of the villa, nothing rushes forward. Time is measured not by the ticking of a clock, but by the subtle, steady rhythm of flame, of breath, of silence. The rooms themselves are sparsely decorated, yet each piece within them speaks volumes. There are no elaborate adornments, no excess, only what is essential. A single chair, its wood carved with delicate patterns, its seat worn by countless generations, sits alone in a corner. It is not a chair made for hurried moments, but for stillness. Its presence invites us to sit, to pause, to breathe. Nearby, a tapestry drapes softly over the stone wall. The colors have faded with time, but the beauty remains, like an ancient memory that lingers even when it cannot be fully recalled. The fabric whispers the stories of long ago, woven into its threads, carried through the years on the winds of time. Each thread, though delicate, holds a strength, a timeless elegance. Perhaps this is the essence of these rooms, an understated, quiet elegance that does not seek attention but invites reverence. A statue stands in the far corner, its features worn by centuries of touch, its face obscured by the shadows. It is a statue of a god or a hero, who we cannot say for certain. Whispers tell us that this figure was once a guardian of this sacred space, watching over the inhabitants of the villa as they went about their daily lives. It is not a statue of grandeur, but one of quiet strength. The figure's gaze is distant, contemplative, as though it has been waiting for us, for the moment when we would finally pause to acknowledge its silent watch over the years. The statue stands as a reminder that the sacredness of life is not always found in grand gestures or loud proclamations. Sometimes it is found in the stillness, in the quiet moments when nothing is said, but everything is understood. The soft glow of the candles seems to deepen the stillness of the space, adding a layer of reverence to the already tranquil atmosphere. Here, nothing feels out of place. There is no rush, no sense of urgency. Every object, every corner of the room has its rightful place, as though the villa itself has learned to live in harmony with time, with the earth beneath it, and the heavens above. This is a space where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where the smallest details, the worn wood of the chair, the faded tapestry, the chipped edge of the statue, become sacred. These are the things that fill the room, not with noise, but with a quiet beauty that invites reflection. As we move deeper into the space, the air grows cooler, more still. The light from the candles flickers, casting soft shadows across the walls, illuminating the texture of the stone and the quiet elegance of the furnishings. Each step we take in this room feels like a movement through time, as though we are not simply walking in a room, but through history itself. Perhaps these rooms were once filled with the laughter and voices of those who lived here, but now only the stillness remains, like a whispered secret held within the walls. The stone floors, cool beneath our feet, carry the weight of these memories. Every crack, every imperfection tells a story of the passage of time, of lives lived here, of moments shared, of quiet prayers offered beneath the gaze of the gods. The stone has absorbed these stories, and now, as we walk through the villa, it carries them softly, gently, as though the very earth beneath us is whispering its ancient wisdom. It is said that the stone floors of the villa are like the heart of the home, steady, unwavering, holding the pulse of life within them. And as we stand still, taking in the beauty of the room, we can almost feel that pulse, gentle and eternal, as if the villa itself is alive, breathing with us, holding us in its timeless embrace. Beneath the silence, there is a deep connection to something greater than ourselves. The stillness of the room invites us to pause, to reflect, to remember that the sacred is not always in the loud or the obvious, but in the quiet corners, in the subtle beauty of the everyday. The god or hero, the carved chair, the tapestry, each of these objects invites us to slow down, to appreciate the quiet, to honor the sacredness of the moment. These are not just things, they are vessels of memory, of life, of the eternal dance between the physical and the spiritual. And so the room remains still. Bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, the stone floors beneath our feet cool and firm, grounding us in this sacred space. There is no rush here, no need to hurry. Time moves differently in these rooms, measured not in minutes or hours, but in breaths, in pauses, in moments of quiet reflection. The space invites us to rest, to reflect on the sacredness of life, and to remember that sometimes the most profound beauty is found in the stillness, in the quiet elegance that surrounds us. The room, like the villa itself, exists as a place where time slows, where the ordinary becomes sacred, and where every detail holds the weight of centuries. As the candlelight flickers and the shadows stretch long across the floor, we are left in the soft embrace of the room, suspended between past and present, between memory and reality. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, this quiet beauty, this stillness. Perhaps it was meant to be felt, to be experienced in the silence, in the spaces between the flickering flames. And in that silence we find something timeless, something sacred, that connects us to the hearts of those who walked here long before us. And so the room fades into the shadows of night, the candles flicker out, but the presence of this quiet space remains, held in the heart, waiting for us to return when we are ready. The outer walls of the villa rise before us, ancient and weathered, yet steadfast. Their stones, heavy with the weight of time, hum softly under the touch of the wind. They seem to carry with them the very pulse of the earth, as though they have absorbed the whispers of centuries, the secrets of those who have walked this land before us. These walls, more than mere stone and mortar, have become vessels of memory, silent keepers of a life lived in harmony with the land, where time moved not in hurried steps, but in slow, deliberate rhythms. As we stand at the base of the walls, looking up at their towering presence, the world around us unfurls in a vast, unbroken landscape. The fields of grain stretch endlessly, their golden heads bowing gently in the breeze, as if offering their thanks to the sun. Beyond them, rows upon rows of vineyards wind their way through the rolling hills, the dark green vines heavy with fruit, their branches cradling the promise of harvest. Olive groves, ancient and gnarled, stand like quiet sentinels, their silver leaves catching the light of the fading sun. This is a world untouched by the chaos of distant cities, where the rhythm of life moves according to the seasons, not the demands of time. The wind, soft and constant, brushes against the stone walls, carrying with it the earthy scent of the countryside. It moves like a whisper, a breath that seems to speak to the land itself, as if the earth is sharing its secrets with the sky. The scent of ripening fruit, of herbs and earth mingle in the air, filling the space with the rich fragrance of life. The wind carries the distant sounds of animals, a bird calling from a nearby tree, the soft rustle of leaves stirred by the breeze, the faint hum of life from the vineyards and groves. These sounds blend together, creating a quiet symphony that echoes through the land, like a hymn to the simplicity and sacredness of existence. In this moment, standing against the ancient stone, we are reminded of the deep connection between this villa and the land that surrounds it. The walls, though strong and unyielding, seem to breathe with the land, as though they are a part of the very earth they protect. It is said that the Romans believed in the sacredness of the land, that every stone, every tree, every vine was connected to the gods, and that life, in all its forms, was an offering to the divine. The villa, with its sturdy walls and tranquil gardens, was a place where the gods and nature were honored in equal measure, where every act, no matter how small, was a prayer, a sacred acknowledgement of the beauty and bounty of the world. The wind pushes against the walls, its soft breath carrying with it the faintest trace of the sea, distant and far off, yet always present in the air. It is a reminder that even here, in this secluded corner of the world, the rhythms of the earth are not isolated. The land speaks to the sky, to the sea, to the stars. The whispers of the wind tell us that we are part of something vast, something ancient, something that stretches beyond the walls of the villa, beyond the fields and groves, beyond even time itself. We are reminded that life is not a series of disconnected moments, but a continuous sacred flow, a river that moves ever onward, carrying us with it, if we are willing to listen. The outer walls, worn by time, stand firm against the passing years, but they are not impermeable. The stone, though sturdy, bears the marks of the seasons, the faint cracks where the stone has shifted, the soft erosion of the surface where the wind has worked its way through, the patina of time that coats every inch of this sacred space. It is as if the walls themselves have become a part of the land, blending seamlessly with the earth they protect. Each crack, each weathered edge, tells the story of a life lived in harmony with nature, where every imperfection is a testament to the passage of time, to the quiet rhythms that define this world. We walk along the base of the walls, our footsteps light on the stone, as though we are walking through the threads of history itself. Each step carries us deeper into the land, deeper into the peace that this place offers. The walls, towering above us, seem to embrace us, protecting us from the outside world, wrapping us in the quiet serenity of the villa. The sounds of the animals, the rustling of the trees, the wind through the vines, all of these fade into the background, leaving us with only the soft, steady rhythm of life that flows through the villa, through the walls, through the earth beneath our feet. As the evening deepens, the light of the setting sun bathes the landscape in soft gold, casting long shadows across the fields. The vineyards shimmer, the olive groves stand still, and the walls of the villa glow faintly, their surface reflecting the last rays of the day. The peaceful rhythm of life in this place seems eternal, as if it has always been and always will be a sanctuary untouched by the noise of the world. It is a reminder that there is a beauty in simplicity, a sacredness in stillness, and that life, when lived in harmony with the earth, is a quiet prayer, a continuous offering to the divine. We pause to look out over the land, the wind stirring the air around us, carrying with it the faintest trace of the sea. The distant sounds of the world beyond the villa, distant voices, the clatter of a bustling city, seem far away, lost in the vastness of this sacred space. Here, in the quiet embrace of the villa's outer walls, we are at peace. we are reminded that there is no need to rush, no need to hurry. The rhythms of the earth move slowly, gently, and we are invited to move with them, to listen to the wind, to the whisper of the leaves, to the hum of life that exists beyond time and space. As the evening deepens, the stars begin to twinkle faintly above us, their soft light marking the passage of time, but also reminding us that we are part of something far greater, something ancient and eternal. The wind stirs once more, carrying with it the scents of the earth, the sounds of the animals, the quiet hum of life, and beneath the silence of the night, we understand that the villa's walls are not just walls, they are part of the earth, part of the rhythm of life that pulses through the land, through the air, through the stars. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, this sacred connection between the villa and the land, between the walls and the wind, between the past and the present. Perhaps it was always meant to be felt, to be experienced in the stillness, in the quiet breath of the earth, in the soft hum of the wind that carries with it the weight of centuries. The first light of dawn begins to stretch across the sky, filtering through the villa's open atrium with soft golden rays. These beams of light seem to breathe life into the room, casting gentle shadows on the marble floors, their surfaces cool and smooth beneath the early morning stillness. The villa, silent at this hour, holds a sacred hush as the world awakens. The air is thick with the quiet breath of the earth, the first stirrings of the day weaving through the villa's stone walls like a soft hymn. In this moment, time slows, and the world outside seems distant, forgotten. We step softly, carefully, into a small, intimate bathhouse tucked within the heart of the villa. The space is modest yet elegant, built with stone and lined with delicate mosaics, their ancient patterns still visible in the dim light. A pool of warm water, gently shimmering in the first rays of sunlight, sits at the center of the room, inviting us to enter. The sound of water splashing softly as it moves is the only sound that fills the air, a quiet, rhythmic pulse that seems to echo the heartbeat of the villa itself. Here, the very act of bathing is transformed into something sacred, a ritual of cleansing not only the body but the spirit. The warm waters, soft against the skin, hold a kind of stillness. The water is not just liquid, it is a sacred element, a medium through which the body is purified, renewed. It is said that the Romans viewed such rituals as a way to align the physical with the spiritual, a moment where the mundane acts of daily life were intertwined with something deeper, something eternal. The peacefulness of the bathhouse, with its stone walls and soft flickering light, holds a quiet reverence, an invitation to pause and cleanse not only the body, but the mind and soul. As we submerge ourselves in the water, the scent of oils and herbs fills the air, mingling with the steam that rises gently from the surface of the bath. Lavender, rosemary, and frankincense, the fragrances linger like a whisper, soft yet profound, their ancient presence adding a sense of ritual to the space. The air, warm and thick with the sense of the earth, feels like a cocoon, wrapping us in the stillness of the moment. In the quiet, we can imagine the gentle conversations that might have taken place here, beneath the watchful gaze of the villa's owners as they began their day in the calm, sacred privacy of the bathhouse. What secrets, what reflections passed between them in this sacred space? Were they contemplating the tasks of the day, or were they surrendering to the quiet ritual of purification, allowing the waters to wash away the dust of sleep and prepare them for the new day? The bathhouse itself, though humble in its simplicity, holds an elegance that seems to come from another time, another realm. The walls are adorned with faded frescoes, delicate images of gods and heroes, their forms blurred with the passage of time. Each brushstroke, though worn, carries with it a message, an invitation to connect, to reflect, to honor the divine. The frescoes, like the water, are part of this ritual, offering silent prayers as the morning light pours in through the small windows, casting their shapes on the stone floor. These images, though faint, remind us that here, in this intimate space, the sacred and the mundane have always come together, offering us not just purification of the body, but a connection to something larger, something eternal. As the water lingers around us, soft and still, we are enveloped in a sense of calm, a quiet that exists only in places like this, where time moves not in sharp increments, but in soft waves, flowing like the water itself. The world outside remains distant, its noise and chaos left far behind. Here, in this sacred space, there is nothing but the slow, gentle rhythm of life. Perhaps it is here, in the stillness of the bathhouse, that we find the deepest connection to the divine, the understanding that the sacred is not always loud, not always in grand gestures, but in the quiet, deliberate acts of daily life. The warm water embraces us, cleansing not only the skin but the spirit. With every dip, every gentle splash, we feel a sense of renewal, of shedding the dust of the past and stepping forward into the present, purified and whole. The act of bathing here is not one of hurry or need. It is a ritual, a moment of peace, a time to connect with the body, the soul, and the earth in perfect harmony. In the space of the bathhouse, we are reminded of the eternal dance between the physical and the spiritual, between the mundane and the divine. Here, in the quiet ritual of cleansing, we are made whole again. In this moment of sacred stillness, we are no longer bound by the rush of the world outside. We breathe deeply, feeling the warmth of the water, the softness of the air, the calm that fills the space. The villa, with its stone walls and flickering candlelight, holds us in this tranquil embrace. There is no need for words, no need for explanations, only the quiet rhythm of life unfolding slowly, gently, like the flicker of a flame in the soft morning light. As the bath comes to an end, the last traces of water are gently splashed away, and the stillness lingers in the air like a prayer offered to the heavens. The space feels unchanged, yet somehow we are different, renewed, purified, ready for the day ahead. The bathhouse, with its quiet elegance and sacred simplicity, has offered us more than just cleansing. It has reminded us of the beauty of slowing down, of honoring the sacredness of the daily acts that connect us to the earth, to each other, and to the divine. We step out of the water, the warmth of the bath still clinging to our skin, and we stand in the soft light of the villa's atrium, feeling the peace of the ritual settle deep within us. The world beyond the walls of the villa may be filled with noise, with haste, with chaos, but here, in this quiet space, we have learned that there is a rhythm to life that moves not in hurried steps, but in the soft, slow beat of the earth itself. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, this sacred act of cleansing. Perhaps it was only meant to be felt, to be experienced in the silence of the water, in the fragrance of the oils, in the quiet stillness that surrounds us. And as the morning light grows stronger and the sounds of the world begin to stir beyond the walls of the villa, we carry with us the peace of this moment, the quiet ritual of the morning bath, where the body, the mind, and the spirit are renewed, and where the sacred and the mundane meet in perfect harmony. The library of the villa rests in the heart of the ancient stone walls, a quiet sanctuary of wisdom and reverence. Here, time does not march with the urgency that rules the world beyond. It unfolds in soft, deliberate breaths, like the quiet turning of a scroll, like the careful reading of a passage known only to the patient, to those who listen closely. The air is thick with history, each corner of the room steeped in the scent of ancient parchment and ink, the smell of time itself, as if the very pages hold secrets that can only be unlocked with the passing of years. We step into this sacred space, where the dust of centuries rests gently on the shelves, where scrolls and codices sit in quiet repose, awaiting the touch of a hand that will coax from them their stories. The soft rustle of pages turning fills the air, the sound like a whisper from another time. Every movement within this room seems deliberate, slow, respectful, as though the library itself honors the knowledge contained within its walls. The shelves are lined with scrolls, their edges softened with age, their text faint but still visible in the dim, filtered light. Some are rolled tightly, their contents hidden, awaiting discovery. Others are open, their pages spread like the wings of a bird mid-flight, ready to share their wisdom with those who seek it. There is no rush here, there is no hurry. The library's silence is a gentle invitation to pause, to reflect, to take in the vastness of human thought that has been captured between these walls. It is said that the villa's scholars and philosophers spent countless hours here, absorbed in the pursuit of knowledge, lost in the labyrinth of ideas, seeking answers to questions that have since faded from memory. But within this space, those questions remain alive, their echoes reverberating softly through the air, stirring the stillness. In this room, time seems to slow, and the wisdom of the ages becomes a living, breathing presence. In the corners of the room, the statues of gods and heroes stand in silent watch, their marble faces worn by time, yet still filled with a quiet intensity. Each one, though still, seems to hold within it a hidden energy, a sense of life that transcends the years. They stand as guardians of the space, offering silent blessings over the scholars who once moved through this room. The light from the high arched windows falls gently on their forms, casting long shadows that seem to stretch toward the shelves, as if the statues are leaning toward the wisdom they protect. Their presence adds a sense of reverence to the space, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge is not only a personal journey, but a sacred one. We move slowly between the rows of shelves, our steps muffled by the thick stone floor. Every so often, we reach out to touch a scroll, our fingers brushing lightly against the fragile parchment. The texture is delicate, as though the very act of touching it could dissolve the centuries of care that have preserved it. But we are drawn to it, to the quiet promise of a story waiting to be discovered, a truth waiting to be uncovered. We gently unfurl a scroll, its edges crumbling slightly with the effort, and we read a passage, its meaning fading with the years, yet still carrying the weight of thought, the weight of those who have come before. As we pause, reading, the room seems to hold its breath. The light from the windows shifts, casting soft beams across the floor, and the faintest breeze stirs the pages of an open manuscript on the nearby table. It is as if the villa itself is a living entity, breathing with the knowledge stored within these walls, its walls echoing with the soft murmur of wisdom, like the quiet whisper of a prayer offered long ago. The room is not just a place of study, but a sanctuary of thought, a temple to the sacred pursuit of understanding. The knowledge contained here is not just written on ink on parchment, it is alive, woven into the very air, waiting for those who come seeking to feel its presence, to touch it with reverence. There is a certain peace that fills this space, a tranquility born from the slow pace of learning, from the gentle unfolding of ideas and thoughts. The books, the scrolls, the statues, and the stone floors, they all seem to breathe in time with us, as though we too are part of the library's living rhythm. The pursuit of knowledge here is not a race to finish, but a quiet journey, one that moves at its own pace, allowing space for reflection, for pause, for the stillness between each thought. Here, the mind is free to wander, to stretch and explore, without the harsh demands of the outside world. The stillness is sacred, the silence filled with unspoken wisdom. Perhaps it is here, in this room of quiet study, that we can most fully understand the sacredness of knowledge. It is not only in the learning, but in the reverence with which it is approached, the respect for the thinkers who came before, who left behind these fragile scrolls and manuscripts as offerings to future generations. In the soft light, in the slow turning of pages, we realize that knowledge, like the gods who guard it, is timeless. It does not rush, it is patient, it waits for those who are ready to listen, who are willing to take the time to hear its whispers. As the day fades and the light softens, the library grows quieter still. The sounds of the villa's daily life, distant voices, the rustle of robes, seem far away, swallowed by the thick walls of the villa. The soft murmur of the scrolls turning, the quiet hum of contemplation is the only sound. And in this silence, we are reminded that the pursuit of knowledge is never an end, but a journey. There is always more to uncover, more to learn, more to understand. But perhaps in this space, that journey itself is the answer. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, but only felt, the soft echo of wisdom, carried through time on the breath of the wind, in the stillness of the room, in the pages of the books, in the hearts of those who seek. As the light wanes and the shadows deepen, we slowly leave the library, carrying with us the quiet peace that fills this space, the knowledge, the wisdom, the echoes of those who have come before. And though the villa may grow quiet once more, the library's soft murmurs will remain with us, waiting patiently for the next seeker, for the next moment of stillness, for the next journey into the heart of understanding. As the day folds into night, the villa, still and ancient, breathes with the quiet transformation of time. The sun's last golden rays slip gently behind the horizon, leaving behind a softened violet sky that speaks of endings and beginnings in the same breath. In the coolness of the evening air, we find ourselves drawn toward the hearth, the beating heart of the villa. The fire, already crackling softly, flickers with a life all its own, casting a dance of shadows across the stone walls. The light is warm and steady, its orange glow filling the space with a quiet, sacred presence. The stone, though ancient and weathered, seems to come alive in this light, its surfaces softened by the fire's touch. We settle by the hearth, the warmth of the fire caressing the cool evening air, filling the room with a peaceful, almost sacred atmosphere. The stones of the villa, now cool and firm beneath our feet, seem to hum in resonance with the fire's crackle, as if they too feel the rhythm of the flames. The world beyond the villa has quieted, its sounds fading into the distance, leaving only the soft murmur of the fire and the occasional whisper of the wind. It is a moment suspended in time, where all that matters is the warmth, the quiet, and the stillness that fills the room. The evening meal has passed, the table now cleared, and the villa's inhabitants have gathered around the hearth. Their voices are soft, a gentle murmur in the quiet space, exchanging the last words of the day, offering thanks for the food, for the work completed, for the moments of peace that still remain. The conversation is slow, unhurried, a meditation on the day's work and the quiet joy of shared moments. There is no rush to leave, no urgency to fill the space with noise. Instead, the room fills with an unspoken understanding, a shared recognition of the bond that ties them together, woven through every quiet gesture, every glance exchanged by the firelight. It is said that in such moments the ordinary becomes sacred, that the very act of gathering around the fire is an offering, a return to the rhythm of life itself. The fire itself holds a central role in the life of the villa. It is not merely a source of warmth, it is a symbol, a living presence that ties the villa's inhabitants to the earth, to the divine, and to one another. The crackling flames, with their soft, undulating movement, become a reflection of the quiet rhythms that govern the villa, the unspoken rituals that bind its walls, its people, and its purpose. The fire, like the villa, is both practical and spiritual, offering sustenance and comfort, yet also embodying the deeper connection to the sacred. As we sit by the hearth, the soft flicker of the flames cast long shadows on the stone walls, creating an intimate space where time seems to slow. The fire's glow feels timeless, an eternal presence that has been shared by generations before us and will continue long after. The warmth that spreads from the flames, its glow reaching out toward the stone, feels like the heartbeat of the villa, steady and undisturbed. It is here, in the quiet light of the hearth, that we find the essence of home, the simple, profound peace that comes from knowing that this space, these walls, have witnessed countless rituals, countless gatherings, and that they will continue to hold the stories of those who come and go. The villa's walls, thick and firm, seem to embrace the warmth of the fire, the silence of the night. The flames reach higher, their light casting an ever-changing pattern on the stone, a dance of shadows that evokes a sense of mystery, of something ancient and sacred, In the flickering light, the walls, worn and crumbling in places, seem alive, as though the fire's glow has breathed new life into the villa's stone. It is here, in this intimate space, that we reflect not only on the day's work, but on the quiet rhythm of life that pulses through the villa. Every brick, every stone, every beam seems to hum with this rhythm, held together by the simple, sacred acts of living. The fire's warmth is a metaphor not only for the physical comfort it provides, but for the spiritual peace that resides at the heart of the villa. Just as the fire offers light in the darkness, so too does it offer warmth in the coldest moments of life. It is a symbol of connection, of home, of a space where time slows, where the body and spirit are both nurtured, where the simple act of gathering around a flame becomes an offering, a return to something eternal. The warmth that radiates from the hearth is like the love that binds the villa's inhabitants, a force that transcends the boundaries of time, a connection that has always existed and will continue long after the fire has burned out. As we sit in this sacred space, we are reminded of the small rituals that define life in the villa, the slow preparation of the meal, the quiet exchange of words, the moment of reflection shared by the firelight. These are the moments that transform a house into a home. It is not the grandeur of the villa that makes it sacred. It is the small, quiet acts of daily life that imbue it with meaning. Here, where the fire's warmth fills the space, we are reminded of the simplicity of life, of the connection that can be found in the quietest of moments, in the stillness between words, in the flicker of a flame that binds us all together.
As the evening wears on, the fire begins to settle, its flames softening into glowing embers. The night deepens, and the quiet hum of the villa becomes even more profound, the walls holding the memories of all who have come before. The fire, now reduced to soft embers, still holds a quiet warmth, a promise that the space will remain unchanged, undisturbed by time, always ready to welcome those who seek its peace. It is a reminder that this too is a part of life, a part of the endless cycle of creation and renewal. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, this quiet ritual by the fireside. Perhaps it was meant only to be felt, to be experienced in the warmth of the hearth, in the silence of the night, in the glow of the fire that continues to burn quietly in the heart of the villa. Some rituals, some connections, are not meant to be explained, but to be lived, to be held in the heart, like the warmth of the fire, eternal and undisturbed. And so, as the embers fade into the night, the villa remains still, holding the warmth of the evening fireside, the peace of the simple ritual that binds its walls together. Perhaps the fire is a metaphor, a symbol of the warmth that resides in the heart of the villa, a warmth that endures through time, untouched by the passing years. Perhaps this warmth is not just for those gathered here, but for all who come seeking peace, seeking connection, seeking the quiet ritual of home. And as the night deepens, we are left with the quiet, sacred glow of the fire, and the knowledge that its warmth will remain as long as the villa stands, in the hearts of all who gather here.
The night falls gently over the villa, wrapping it in a blanket of quiet reverence. Beneath the vault of the heavens, a sea of stars unfurls in the deep, endless sky. The cool air carries the scent of the earth, heavy with the weight of ancient memory. The olive trees, standing tall and enduring, stretch their gnarled branches upward, their silhouettes sharp against the darkened sky. They seem to reach for the stars themselves, as if the heavens and earth are bound by the quiet, sacred pulse of these ancient sentinels. These trees have seen it all: battles fought, seasons passed, civilizations risen and crumbled, yet they stand unyielding, their roots buried deep in the soil, holding secrets older than the stones of the villa itself. The air is still, save for the soft rustling of leaves stirred by the night breeze. The olives, now heavy with the fruit of another season, glow faintly under the moonlight. Each leaf shimmers like a tiny star, catching the silvery glow of the sky above, their forms twisting and turning in ancient patterns, reflecting the vastness of time that has unfolded around them. It is said that these trees were planted long before the villa's foundations were laid, a gift from the earth, perhaps from the gods themselves. The whispers of the land tell us that the olives are not merely plants, but living beings, keepers of wisdom, guardians of the villa's soul. Their roots, deep and entwined beneath the surface, stretch across the land like threads woven into the very fabric of existence. We walk slowly beneath the shade of the olive trees, the cool earth soft beneath our feet, the silence surrounding us so complete that it feels as though the entire world has paused in reverence. There is no hurry here, no need to rush. The land, like the trees, invites us to slow our breath, to listen, to remember. In the distance, the darkened fields stretch into infinity, the contours of the land softened by the shadows of night. The moon hangs low, casting long beams of pale light across the olive groves, as if it too is a guardian, casting its glow over the trees, watching as the centuries unfold in quiet succession. The olives stand as witnesses to this quiet passage of time, their branches reaching ever upward, their roots embedded deep within the earth. There is something sacred about their presence, something that connects the land to the heavens, the past to the present. These trees do not speak in words, but in the quiet rustle of their leaves, in the stillness of their being. They are the silent keepers of the villa's story, bearing witness to the generations that have passed through this space. Every knot in their bark, every twist in their branches, carries the weight of the lives lived beneath their shade. The same land that nourished the villa's founders now nourishes us, offering not just sustenance, but connection to something greater, something divine. The olive trees, their ancient trunks covered in the dust of time, are not just a part of the villa's landscape, they are its soul. The very life of the villa is bound to the land that surrounds it, a quiet, unbreakable bond. The olives offer their fruit, their shade, and their wisdom. They nourish the body, but also the spirit. They stand as a testament to the quiet rhythm of life that flows through the villa, an eternal dance between the earth, the sky, and those who walk the land. As we stand beneath their gnarled branches, we feel the weight of their presence, the ancient energy that hums through the soil, through the very air we breathe. This is a place where the sacred and the mundane meet, where the earth offers its gifts in quiet reverence, and where those who live here are reminded daily of their connection to the land and to the divine. Above us, the stars continue their ancient dance across the sky, their light soft and distant, like the gentle whispers of the past. The constellations, those silent guides, mark the passage of time, their positions unchanged by the centuries. The land below, quiet and still, mirrors the sky above, timeless, eternal. It is beneath this silent sky that we reflect on the sacredness of the earth, the land that has nurtured not only the villa's olive trees, but the very people who have lived here, the generations that have been born and died beneath the same stars. The earth, it seems, does not forget. It holds the memory of those who have lived in harmony with it, those who have worked the land, respected its rhythms, and honored its divine essence. In this place, there is a deep sense of belonging, a quiet certainty that time moves not in the hurried march of the world outside, but in the slow, steady rhythms of nature. The olive trees, with their twisted trunks and silvered leaves, stand as a reminder of this slow, sacred time. Their presence is a comfort, a quiet anchor in the midst of an ever-changing world. Perhaps this is the true blessing of the villa, that it is rooted in the land, bound by the ancient rhythms that govern not just the seasons, but the very pulse of life itself.
As the night deepens and the stars grow brighter, we find ourselves lost in the stillness of the olive groves. The wind has slowed, and the only sound that remains is the soft rustling of the olive leaves, as if they too are offering their quiet prayer to the heavens. There is no need for words here. The silence is enough. The fire within the villa's hearth, now dimming in the distance, flickers faintly, a soft reminder of the warmth and connection that thrives in this place, a warmth that mirrors the life of the trees, slow, eternal, and undisturbed. And so, beneath the silent sky, we stand in the embrace of the olives, the land, and the stars. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, this bond between the villa and the earth, between the trees and the heavens. Perhaps it was meant only to be felt, to be lived in the quiet, sacred moments beneath the ancient olives, where time itself seems to slow, and all that is left is the gentle pulse of the land. The villa's soul, intertwined with the roots of the olives, will endure. It will stand through the centuries, unchanged and unbroken, for it is bound to the earth, as eternal as the stars that mark the sky. Perhaps the true blessing of the villa is not in its walls, but in the land that sustains it, a land that offers peace, connection, and timeless wisdom beneath the silent sky. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. Some truths, like the olive trees, are buried deep in the earth, waiting to be uncovered, waiting for those who are ready to hear their quiet whispers.
And now, as the villa grows still, the lamps dim, and the echoes of the day fade into silence, you may allow the images to drift away like warm air slipping through open curtains. There is nothing more to imagine, nothing more to follow, only rest. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with Twilight Tale. If you've enjoyed this gentle journey into the past, you may return anytime for another peaceful story. Until then, sleep deeply, sleep calmly, and let history fade into dreams.